All right. This is gonna be a short one as well. Bit of a little bit of meta thoughts. Not in game meta, but it's more like a playing the game sort of meta in like a wider sense. It will make sense in a second. So basically, for a long time, I've been playing ARPGs. I guess not even just ARPGs, but other games as well. I've been playing it that I was looking for a build, and then I was basically following the relatively fixed template of someone else that they put together and they made it. And obviously, most of them also pulled out the ideas from other people as well. So usually, in not in every case, but in many cases, obviously, the one who actually has a fully fleshed out build or build guide or template is not necessarily the one who's the creator of the build or like the first one who came up with the idea. I mean it in more in that sense, not that they don't make the build themselves. But yeah, my point is that I've been following those guides and templates for a long time, and I think I've gotten to a point where it just really hampers my enjoyment or excitement or my experience of the game, because in many ways it's like I'm just following a path that others already have, but in like a less less polished, less efficient, less focused manner. And then whenever I get to the point where I not necessarily hit a wall, but the point where I don't feel like the next step or getting currency for the next step, next upgrade, or getting to the next gate of content, the next level of content. When I get to the point where it's not worth anymore, it doesn't feel like it's worth my time or my effort to do it. And then when I get to the point and I look back at what I actually did along the way, I just don't have, I don't have that sense of accomplishment or anything. I mean, like obviously we're like throwing around big words, but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to have fun. So not everyone has to come up with new and crazy things by themselves. But another factor in this is obviously when I record something or I put out something, and then it's just basically any question that could come up or any interesting thing to talk about is it's always just gonna be go look and see what XYZ did, because I'm just copying them. So obviously that is not very satisfying from a, let's say, a video making or a recording perspective. Because I mean, if you want the thing, then you can just go to the source and then you can get it in a better version anyway. So like it kind of connects back to the earlier video that I did, or like recording, when I was thinking about and talking about how much value there is in just me giving some snapshots along the way, but not in like a build guide template. So this is basically just the same thing just from a bit of a different angle. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I would probably be a lot better served if I just did something that maybe not as good, but at least I can, maybe not for every conclusion, but I could come to quite a few conclusions in the build by experiencing it instead of copying everything. So yeah, that's basically it. Like the whole TLDR of it is that I don't enjoy copying other people's builds anymore. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. But at the same time, I still enjoy playing a good build. So you know, like somewhere in between is where I gotta find where I wanna be. Like something that has enough of me in it that I don't have to run for every little thing to the source, just trying to copy what they are doing. Because what has been happening is that I'm following for like the most part, and there's like one tiny thing that I'm like trying to be a bit creative, and then I circle back and I just get to the point where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's just I'm just supposed to be doing what they are doing uh, all the time. And then in some ways that you could already say that those tiny things where I'm like trying to do something different, I'm trying to do a different variant, that is already part of the build that is like trying to, that is in some ways mine or like my character and not what I've copied from someone else. But there's like a matter of ratios, right? If I'm copying like 90-95%, then I'm not gonna feel that the 5% is really all that special, especially if it's like not as good, or if it ends up being a failure, quote unquote failure, because like experimentation is in its own reward, is its own reward in some ways, like, even if it's a failure, there is definitely value in that. But if I had like a better ratio, right? Like it's like, let's say 50-50, for example, right? Like I'm grabbing like the general idea or whatnot, and then I leave it alone and I try to come to the conclusions myself. And when I fail that way, that is more fulfilling compared to, you know, trying to do something else in the 5% and that failure. So it's like a different experience. Anyway, long story short, like I said, I don't enjoy being a copycat anymore, and I would probably be better off if I just did something that's like, even if it's bad, at least it's mine in some ways. But obviously, it's not gonna mean that I'm going to suddenly come up with like some insane things that no one has ever heard of it before. Like I think I can still play the builds that everyone else is playing, just not by copying everything that they are doing. Just by trying to go by my own game sense and on my own experience and my own knowledge, and try to make it through that way. Which can and probably will mean that I'm gonna be able to complete less content. So yeah, that is probably what the future is gonna hold, but it's not gonna be in the current PoE league most likely, and it's also not gonna be in the current Torchlight season most likely. I think in some ways like, those ships have already sailed for me. So yeah, that's what I want to say today. Thank you very much, and bye bye.